So, well, not sponsored, but I got this at TF Toys and it's still up there in stock, so I'll link it below if you want to get one of these because that's where I purchased it. But I'm going to start with the packaging because I actually really like the way it looks. I love the new Legacy Selects packaging. I love the design, the artwork that they put on the front of the box. It's a lot nicer to look at when you're looking at it on store shelves than the brown boxes that they put the other ones in, so I like that change. The instructions also look a lot nicer than the War for Cybertron ones, especially like Siege and Earthrise. They're a little difficult to read in comparison to this. I really appreciate that. But the actual toy itself does some things that made me want to make a video on this guy. So this is my first Legacy figure. It was supposed to be Black Zarak, but that got delayed in Canada, so I have to wait. But this is actually a really good introduction into Legacy. So lift ticket here is a redeco of Hoist, and I didn't like Hoist. Mine had a bunch of issues like loose joints. The clear plastic was super thin and the transformation in the front end was a bit fiddly. And while that last bit hasn't really changed, the rest of it has changed for the better, and that's the main reason why I wanted to talk about this. The colors really work well on this mold. The yellow and red really pop very nicely and make the mold stand out a lot more than it did in the other two colors it came in. I really like the silvery gray they used on the thighs and arms. It doesn't fully match the paint on the gun, but it's pretty close to it that it doesn't throw me off. Compared to the X-Transbots one, and honestly, I much prefer the official one's looks. It feels more proportional and like it's just better. And I could not be asked to transform my TFCon lift ticket. That thing's transformation makes me want to die. The yellow, I have to say, again, just really pops quite well. I expected it to be more orange in person, but it's not, and I'm really happy with that. It also helps that those little details pop a lot more within the yellow, making it look less flat and, in my opinion, less boring. Posing is really good on this guy too. I mean, it's the same as Earthrise Hoist, so if you've seen or handled that mold, it's identical. The panels on the back of the arms still bug me a bit. I wish they moved independently from the arms so you could pose it a bit better, but oh well. Like, I've had a lot of fun posing this guy, almost as much fun as I did with Jackpot when I got that. So here's some fun poses I managed to do in the span of like 30 seconds. Transformation, you guessed it, is the same as Hoist. The fiddliness of trying to get the arms in place is still there. However, the new clear plastic strategy that they used makes it a lot less scary to try and shove everything in place. It's a little thicker and a little bit more reinforced. So I'm really happy that they've decided to do that. And that gives me faith for figures like Legacy Bulkhead, whose entire torso is a clear block. You know, it might not break as easily as it used to, so I'm happy with that. Alt mode in these colors is such a treat. The red and yellow just work so well on this mold. It reminds me a lot, this is gonna be a weird comparison, but it reminds me a lot of the Pizza Planet vehicle from Toy Story in a way. Like, even though the Pizza Planet vehicle's paint job is not similar at all to this, this is the first thing I thought of when I looked at it. I love the big Wrecker logo on the side, and the stripes are a nice bit of added tampograph detail that make the alt mode stand out a lot more. It stood out already with the yellow and red. Those like construction stripes on the side and the Wrecker logo just make it stand out a lot more, and I love that. He can still do all the connecting to ramps and towing small vehicles thing, but there's this one issue on the mold that I've noticed here that I didn't have with Hoist. It's not a big issue, but it's the fact that he doesn't roll the greatest. That's probably just a my copy issue, but it's something to make note of. The wheels don't really roll that well. They also did a pretty good job matching the paint with the colored plastic. You can tell there's a difference, but it's done quite well. Earthrise Sunstreaker could take some notes from this here. Honestly, it's a great little figure. Like, there's not much to talk about here because it's just Earthrise Hoist again, but it's just a nice, fun little version of this mold. I was kind of meh on ordering it, but now that I have him, I'm pleasantly surprised with it. Maybe that's why I like it so much, because I wasn't expecting something really great, but it ended up being that. Either way, I think it's a worthy pickup if you want one, because it's a fun toy, and these colors work very well for this mold. Like, it's definitely something that I've grown into over the past like week or so of having it, and it's just taken over my desk toy. Well, my desk toy was Studio Series Bumblebee Soundwave, but now it's this, because this has just been a lot of fun to just sit there and mess with. So if you're looking for something like that and you love these colors, definitely pick up Lift Ticket. But that's been my look at Legacy Lift Ticket. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.